All right, riders and learners, we got a lot to talk about. So this past week, actually I should probably start off with June 25th, 26th, 27th, that last week of June. That last week of June was rough. So I'm gonna start off talking about Ridershare and my experience with it again. And then I'll kind of give you a glimpse as to what's been going on. So I had a rider rent out the bike around that time, last week of June, and everything was fine. And then some awful things happened. So the renter, by the way, I will say, the renter was great in terms of communication, right? It's not about that. It's really just when something happens to the bike, it just sucks. It just sucks when something goes wrong. So on the way back, returning the bike, the renter said that he hit a pothole and the bike kind of went off. And I was a little surprised because, as you all know, this is a fairly new bike. So it going off is a little strange to me. So what he ended up doing is he stopped, looked underneath the hood, saw that one of the fuses was blown, the ignition fuse, replaced it, brought it back. And so I thought that was fine. Now, with that said, I did get a text the day before, or 2 days before, about locking the bike, right? So when for a Triumph, or at least a Street Twin, when you push it and turn it to the left, it sets the steering lock and the alarm. There were some questions about that, and the fact that the ignition key fuse was the one that was blown and has been blowing ever since is part of my concern. I'm wondering if that's a connection. So there's that. Told Ridershare about it. They are not covering any damage unless it's foul play. I don't think it was any foul play. I think it is what it is, right? When you lend out things and it's mechanical, it is what it is. But Ridershare is not covering any of that. They did cover the nail that was returned back. The wheel had a nail in the back. So they did cover the front and the back tires, which I appreciate. But they gave me a little bit of a hard time because they didn't want to change the front tire, right? Not change, but they didn't want to reimburse the front tire, just the back tire that was punctured. Even though the understanding is, let me know, motorcycle community, what you think. But when you're changing the tires, you technically want to do both, especially if one tire, the back tire, is going to be a different brand and company than the front tire. That's kind of not what you want. So luckily I was able to convince them that it's important to actually do both. So I got that covered. So fast forward, I get the bike, the tires installed, thinking everything's fine. And then I have a series of fuses being blown consistently, and it's always the ignition key. So not first time, it probably was before, but really the first main time was when I was bringing the bike to work, and I was about 15 minutes away from the apartment, and the fuse blew. So had to pull over the side of the road, fix do the whole fuse change. I had some extra fuses, put one in, was able to go home, get some more just in case, and continue on the ride. And I actually was able to ride it back, no problem, later on that day. Now, I was supposed to see Thor that day. I was gonna ride my bike there, but the fuse blew. And not only did the fuse blow, when I tried to switch it again, it blew again pretty quickly. So there's also that. Gave it some time. I rode it around the parking lot the other day. And this is after I pulled up the hood, right? The hood meaning, sorry, that's car speak. I pulled up the tank, looked under the wiring to see if there's anything that was strange, if it was too tight, like the wiring harness, or is it too close to the frame, all those types of things, just to see what's going on, if I could fix it myself. Had a multimeter, couldn't detect anything with the multimeter. And I looked back at the fuse box, I pulled it out, see if there's anything wrong with the wiring, at least from the outside. Couldn't see anything. So I thought we were good. And, so I took it around the parking lot after, secured everything, rode it around, thought we were fine until today. Mind you, yesterday, my car kind of just destroyed itself. It's, part of it's partly my fault. Part of it I feel like is the car and some things I didn't know about the car ahead of time. But in short, the engine overheated. It was lacking a lot of oil. And I think the battery died as a result. So it was smoking, I could barely get to work. I was out basically all night and it was hell. Let's just call it like that. So that happened yesterday. So today I go to the mechanic to try and, give them the key, right? So yesterday I left the bike on the highway on the way home. Right. We installed the battery. It was great. Thought it was going to work. That was at least going to get me back here. It did not. So had it towed off the highway this morning to the mechanic, Parrot Automotive, good people, right here in Durham, North Carolina. Had it towed over there. I was feeling comfortable about the bike based off of my last experience and looking at the wiring. So low stakes. I thought I would be able to ride it there, right? 10, 12 minutes away and ride it back just to drop off the car key and be back. So I got 90% there and then the bike turned off again in the middle of downtown Durham. So it was 94 degrees today. 94. And so I realized, I was like, look, all right, let me park it here. I brought extra fuses with me. Let me park it here, go walk a few blocks down to Parrot, give them the key, walk my way back, maybe exchange the fuse again, and then it'll be back, at least to get me home. It never did. It never did. So what ended up happening was I was calling, my insurance is Progressive. Not really Progressive, but my insurance is Progressive, and I called through them because I had the towing and labor selected, right, as a part of my insurance. And they gave me the absolute worst to run around. First call, the guy was telling me I had to pay for it when I didn't have to pay for it. Second time I called, the lady on the phone, wonderful, and she was able to take the charge off the card. $164 from Progressive to tow your motorcycle, FYI. Then from there, I had 3 or 4 phone calls of trying to figure out where the tow truck was that never showed up until about an hour and a half ago. I was there at probably 12 o'clock. So pretty crappy, to say the least. So that was my experience with that. Finally, the guy who came, great. I believe it's Thomas. I gotta look at the card. I probably put a picture of it in the video. Thomas Towing, I think. No, Williams. Wow, not really sure. I'm gonna stop talking. Show you the picture of it so that you can see what it actually is. I have his business card. Great guy. Had some talks about Harleys and the Harley dealerships and some issues with Harley dealerships and things like that for us. But great experience overall with him. So the bike is back, thankfully, and I didn't have to pay, even though there was a little runaround with that in the beginning. But here we are, trying to figure out what's wrong with the bike. Now, before I say what's next, when I come back on vacation, what I'm gonna do to try and figure out what the hell's going on with the bike. While I was waiting for hours, I ended up meeting some great folks. So there's this guy right in Durham. He told me he was famous. He told me he was locally famous. And I found out that Discover Durham did do a blog on him. So this is, my guy's name was McCoy, right? McCoy, the famous McCoy. He's a shoe shiner right by Market Street. Market in Maine. If you look at Market in Maine, you'll see his shoe shining chair. Brought me over. And I told him I didn't have any cash on me. So I said, listen, I don't want to disappoint you. But either way, my man ended up shining my shoes. And I have TCX boots, and those things look brand new. He told me it was like hopping onto a new seat. Check this out.
That's not required because of the texture, the material. But then there are other things that can spruce it up. So I'm gonna spruce it up. I sure am. See, when I asked you if you had a card and all that, well, anyway, I bank with Self-Help. They sponsor me and everything. And Self-Help, best kept secret it is the only bank in the state of North Carolina where you can still open up a bank account for $5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, man. Everybody say the same thing. Oh, wow.
That was a great experience. And then while I was waiting, towards the latter part of my wait, I had to move the motorcycle so that this truck that was loading, I was in the loading zone, could do its delivery. The dude comes out, recognizes the bike, and he's like, "Oh, this is your bike?" "Yeah, it's my bike." And so we started talking about bikes. He has a Kawasaki at home that looks beautiful, and a Suzuki that looks beautiful, but he hasn't ridden in a while. And so this is a little bit of our conversation.
It's crazy. I would say shitty while you jumping, but then you don't want to burn up something else.
Yeah. I know. It was fine, and then I gotta get it looked at the dealer. But it's just that one. It's just that one fuse that's wrong.
All right.
So it should be. When I get it fixed, that should be it. We'll see.
Yeah, cause see you one of them types.
Yeah.
you a Triumph guy.
Yeah, I do like them.
Yeah, like I said, that's like motherfuckers used to see me on like the KZ. So like that's my thing. And people like look at me like, damn motherfucker.
Yeah.
I was like, that's my style.
That's your thing.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's your thing.
I don't want no Harley.
Exactly.
I don't want no Victory.
Yeah.
But the bikes are bad though.
Yeah, those nice ones.
And then them other bikes with the big front wheel. That's low to the ground.
Oh yeah, on it,
those
Indian joints.
Yeah, they were beautiful.
Yeah,
but
it's not. Yeah, the Kawasaki is nice.
Yeah,
can't go wrong with that.
I like that KZ.
Yeah, man.
That's how I started.
Yeah.
Off of a dirt bike, and then went opposite. And I was like, that's all it did, Mad Max. That's the fuck.
Yeah. That added to you.
Hey, man, I appreciate that.
Yeah, boss, yeah, no doubt.
And then, so the bike run, I just gotta sit and bleed the brakes and do that, and then that's it. The cow, all I gotta do is just start it up every couple of months, and nothing.
Yeah.
Just get the nerve, because I haven't rode in years.
Uh-huh.
And the first time I rode it, in so many years, bought a new helmet, put the helmet in, and I went out, and I'm like, damn, this shit the road feels fucked up.
Yeah.
I can't really see. It's blurry and it's loud.
Yeah.
Louder than what I used to expect it was.
Yeah.
Come to find out, all I had to do was put on earplugs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And fucking rip the film off the shield.
Oh, you had the film on.
Yeah. The film on.
Yeah, you had the film on.
And then the street pavement is different than the New York pavement.
Sure, yeah, for
So
sure.
it's grainy.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you fall off, the way I'm airing now,
Yeah.
you get scarred
Oh
up.
yeah, you get those
So
rods.
that's where I can feel in the wheels. And then when I figured out about the shield, I was so pissed off at myself. Because I ain't really go far, and then I was like, man, I don't know what the fuck wrong with me.
Yeah.
And then I adjust my mirrors.
Yeah.
So I'm riding, and like don't know who's behind me.
Uh-huh.
And then I have to, it's like, can't do too much. So I'll fix that problem.
But I hear you.
Hey, bro, I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, the silver linings in all this mess is that I got to meet some cool folks. One about motorcycles, and the other was just attracted to my motorcycle boots. So he wanted to freshen them up a little bit, which I appreciate. And I told him I owe him double. So when I see him, you know, he's gonna get double of what he should have got today. But what's next? What's next is going all the way to Greensboro. This is Durham. I have to go to Greensboro to go fix the bike. So the local spots, power sports spots, Sports Durst, great. I love Sports Durst, but they only work on Hondas and certain other bikes. They wouldn't be able to, I guess, communicate with it and whatnot, which is fine. It would have been convenient because they're like 2 minutes down the road, but I can walk if I need to leave the bike. But it is what it is. So Triumph, the closest Triumph dealership is in Greensboro. That's at least 45 minutes away to an hour. The issue is my bike and my car are out of commission. So me going there, I'm gonna have to, you know, hook up someone, a friend of mine, to drop me and pick me up, or stay there with me until I know, or Uber. But then, you know, I also have to think about, what if the bike needs more than just the time that it's there for? Let's say just that day. It needs 2 days. That, you know, then there's issues with work. There's issues with money. There's issues with, you know, getting the bike there. Now I'm not going to even get a tow company to do it. I'm just going to pay that particular place to come and pick it up and bring it to Greensboro. That's all I can do at this point. So there it is. So the reason why since the beginning of June the videos have been a little, you know, not really as consistent as I would like, it's because of all this. So this is just part of the process. Everyone who owns a motorcycle probably goes through this in some way, but this is just my process right now. So stay tuned, riders and learners. I'll talk to you later.